Entire team led by Baba Saheb for giving us the constitution that we are proud of even today, post-independence. So a huge round of applause for all their efforts. We cannot sum up the entire lifetime and the legacy of such a huge leader within 60, 70 minutes. Definitely, we have tried to pick the best of his life events, and we have a very good audiovisual presentation for you all to just take you through the life of Dr. Baba Saheb. Can we have the AV, please, and the lights to be put off?
What less could befit Bharat Ratna Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, B.R. Ambedkar, than the title of a national leader, a national hero, and a nation builder or visionary whose thoughts constituted a complete and unbiased and unbreakable and an undeceivable sovereign socialist secular democratic republic nation. A constitution that guarantees the protection of civil liberties for individual citizens, including freedom of religion, the abolition of untouchability, and the outlawing of all forms of discrimination. B.R. Ambedkar gathered the Assembly's support for introducing job reservations in the civil services schools and colleges for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes and other backward class members. He also argued for extensive economic and social rights for women. These measures helped India to a great extent to eradicate the socio-economic inequalities and lack of opportunities for India's oppressed classes. Incredible thoughts of a man that stepped far beyond his era in shaping a nation equal for all.
आज जब देश आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव मना रहा है, तो उसी कालखंड में बाबा साहब आम्बेडकर की जन्म जयंती का अवसर हमें उस महान यज्ञ से भी जोड़ता है और भविष्य की प्रेरणा से भी जोड़ता है। मैं कृतज्ञ राष्ट्र की तरफ से, सभी देशवासियों की तरफ से बाबा साहेब को आदरपूर्वक श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूं। साथियों, आजादी की लड़ाई में हमारे लाखों करोड़ों स्वाधीनता सेनानियों ने समरस समावेशी भारत का सपना देखा था। उन सपनों को पूरा करने की शुरुआत बाबा साहब ने देश को संविधान को देकर के की थी। आज उसी संविधान पर चलकर भारत एक नया भविष्य गढ़ रहा है, सफलता के नए आयाम हासिल कर रहा है।
Dr. Ambedkar established that being born to any particular caste, creed or religion does not maketh a man great. Greatness is earned through one's action. Born in the British cantonment of Mo, or rather the current Dr. Ambedkar Nagar in Madhya Pradesh, on the 14th of April 1891 as the 14th child of a Marathi Dalit or untouchable, Sri Ramji Maloji Sakpal, a Subedar in British Indian Army, and his wife Srimati Bhima Bhai Sakpal, the sole but sober and meaningful journey to an Indian jurist, an unparalleled economist, and a great Dalit leader was nothing short of pain and hurdles for Baba Saheb, as we Indians address him with love. Though the surname was Sakpal, Bhimrao's father registered him at school as Ambedkar after the name of his village. But little did Ramji know that one day Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar will rise to glory as the great Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who headed the committee drafting the constitution of the nation of India itself that was adopted on the 26th of November 1949 by the Constituent Assembly. A pedestal to the pride, Baba Saheb also served as the Law and Justice Minister in the first cabinet of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Dr. Ambedkar was married to Ramabai as per the prevailing customs then, a marriage that lasted religiously for 30 long years until Ramabai's death in 1935. Yet, Ambedkar stood his ground through troubled waters to graduate from the Elphinstone College, University of Bombay, and studied economics at Columbia University and the London School of Economics, receiving his doctorates. He soared to heights to become one of the unquestionable economic minds that formulated the theories presented to the Hilton Young Commission, based on which the foundation of the Reserve Bank of India was laid. From schooling, where the drinking water was poured from a height by an upper caste or a peon, as the untouchables were not permitted to touch water or the vessels, an error which Baba Saheb himself refers to as no peon, no water. Dr. Ambedkar advanced to envision the first great Damodar River Valley project in India to produce electricity from the same forbidden element, water. He even presented the concept of interlinking the rivers and riverine for development on agricultural fronts. Baba Saheb also trained in the law at Gray's Inn, London. He attained majors in economics and other subjects of sociology, history, philosophy, and anthropology. 1914, at the age of 24, Dr. Ambedkar topped his MA from Columbia University in New York. In 1921, his second master's in economics from London. In 1923, he was awarded a doctorate in science in economics from University of London. And in 1927, finally he received his PhD in economics at Columbia. By 1927, Ambedkar had decided to launch active movements against untouchability. He began with public movements and marches to open up public drinking water sources. He also began a struggle for the right to enter Hindu temples. As Ambedkar was educated by the princely state of Baroda, he was bound to serve it. He was appointed military secretary to the Gaikwad, but had to quit in a short time. To make a living for his growing family, Ambedkar worked as a private tutor, as an accountant, and established an investment consulting business, but that failed when his clients learned that he was an untouchable. But that was not the end. He went on to become professor of political economy in Sydenham College of Commerce and Economics in Mumbai. Although he was successful with the students, other professors objected to his sharing a jug of drinking water. While practicing law in the Bombay High Court, he tried to promote education to untouchables and uplift them. His first organized attempt was his establishment of the central institution Bahiskrit Hitakarni Sabha, intended to promote education and socio-economic improvement as well as the welfare of outcasts, the depressed classes. For the defense of Dalit rights, he started many periodicals like Mook Nayak, Bahiskrit Bharat, Equality Janata. Settling in Bombay, Ambedkar oversaw the construction of a house and stocked his personal library with more than 50,000 books. The reforms he brought about includes establishment of the Finance Commission of India, opposing income tax for lower income groups, contributions to the land revenue tax and excise duty policies to stabilize the economy, land reforms and the state economic development, to resolve the restricted movement of labor and capital due to caste system. His theory of state socialism jotted 3 points: state ownership of agricultural land, maintenance of resources for production by the state, and just distribution of resources to the population. He emphasized a free economy with a stable rupee, advocated birth control as adopted by Indian government as national policy for family planning. He emphasized on equal rights for women for economic development. Too much dependence on agriculture was an issue, so he advocated industrialization of the economy to allow agricultural laborers to be of more use elsewhere. After completing the draft of India's constitution in the late 1940s, Baba Saheb suffered from lack of sleep, neuropathic pain in his legs and diabetes. He went to Bombay for treatment, and there he met Sharada Kabir, whom he married on 15th of April 1948 at his home in New Delhi. She adopted the name Savita Ambedkar and cared for him the rest of his life. Savita Ambedkar, who was also called Mai, died on the 29th of May 2003, aged 93 in Mumbai. Baba Saheb was bedridden from June to October in 1954 due to medication side effects and poor eyesight. His health deteriorated during 1955. 3 days after completing his final manuscript, The Buddha and his Dhamma, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar bid farewell to this world in his sleep on 6th of December 1956 at his home in Delhi. His followers honor him with the salutation Jai Bhim. In 1990, the Bharat Ratna, India's highest civilian award, was posthumously conferred on Dr. Ambedkar. B.R. Ambedkar can never be condensed to a name, but is a book of which every page narrates a distinct dimension of the preeminence, brilliance, and dedication of a legend to the cause of a nation's integrity.
These were very few drops from the ocean of the legacy that has left behind by Dr. Baba Saheb for all of us to follow and implement in our life. So a huge round of applause for the compilation as well as for the work done so that we could compile this video in this format. Thank you, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, you, me, have heard, read, and studied all our great leaders through history books, textbooks, as we were brought, few of us or most of us would be brought up in India. But let me tell you, the speakers that we have lined up this evening have learned or just heard about these national leaders in their history textbooks as part of the curriculum. Hardly they get any exposure to know about these leaders apart from such community events. So a great initiative by ICC, because they say history should never be repeated. It should always be retold. And here we are in an effort to retell the history to coming generations and to memorize and to know who were the leaders that contributed the massive history of India's freedom struggle, to be specific, apart from the huge legacy that India definitely has from the from millions of years, from lakhs of years, sorry. So yes, we are not repeating history, but we are retelling it to our kids to follow the great leaders and their learnings in the life. And we must give them a huge round of applause because they have dug in through all the history textbooks right from their lower grades maybe. They have surfed into the ocean of Google, Baba, for getting information of the minutest incidents, stories, quotations that Baba Saheb had given, knowingly, unknowingly for all of us. So here's a huge round of applause for all the kids who have taken such extra special effort for a person they may or may not have heard about. So here I sign up from here and hand over to our beautiful MC, Ms. Aisha Fatima, to take this program ahead.
Thank you, Shweta ma'am. Life should be great rather than long. This is my favorite quote by Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar. A very warm good evening to one and all present here. I am Aisha Fatima from MES Indian School. Today, I am very pleased as ICC Students Forum provided me the honor of hosting this blissful function titled as the Ambedkar Jayanti celebration. I hope together we will make this event an enjoyable one. We all have heard about the Constitution of India. Besides being known for the largest democracy in the world, the Constitution of India is the longest written constitution. Today, we are here to commemorate the birth anniversary of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, father of our Constitution. Today, we have gathered here to remember the life and legacy of Dr. Ambedkar, the Bharat Ratna Award holder. National Anthem is not a ritual, it is a hair-raising event. Now let us all rise for our National Anthem.
قسما لمن رفع السماء قسما لمن نشر الضياء قطر ستبقى حرة تسنو بروح الأوفياء शुभ आशीष माहे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you, everyone. Welcome the challengers. Look for opportunities in every situation to learn and grow in wisdom. So let me invite Ms. J.P. Pavitra for welcome speech.
Stand up and be strong. No fear, no superstition. Face the truth as it is. The Lord Himself will guide you. Good evening to one and all present. I, J.P. Pavitra of Bhavan's Public School, is here to welcome you all on behalf of ICC Student Forum to this wonderful evening. I am forever grateful for this opportunity and appreciate all of you who joined this session. Firstly, I would like to extend a special welcome to our chief guest, Shri Xavier Nadraj sir, First Secretary, Embassy of India and Coordinating Officer of ICC for gracing this event. Your presence adds immense value to today's session. Welcome, sir. I would extend a warm welcome to Shri P.N. Baburajan sir, the ICC President, whose guidance helped shape up this event. I am therefore grateful to say that your guidance and encouragement will be the illuminating force in all of our lives. Welcome, sir. I now extend a warm welcome to all the school principals, coordinating teachers. Your presence motivates us to achieve beyond the limits. I welcome all the parents and teachers who have joined, and students also, of course, who have joined and enthusiastically shown their support and interest towards today's session. And last but not the least, I would like to extend a cheerful welcome to Vice President Shri Subramanya Hebekalu, General Secretary Krishna Kumar Bhandakavi, and all the esteemed committee members of the ICC for putting this session together for the benefits of everyone. Finally, I welcome everyone who is watching this program on social media and encouraging us on social media platform. Without taking up any more of your time, I would like to end with a short quote. The sole meaning of life is to serve humanity. Once again, I am overjoyed and grateful for everyone's valuable presence here. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Pavitra. We must stand on our own feet and fight as best as we can for our rights. So carry on your agitation and organize your forces. Power and prestige will come to you through struggle, said Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Welcome all experiences. You never know which one is going to turn everything on. Now I would like to invite our chief guest, Shri Xavier Dhanraj sir, First Secretary, Embassy of India and Coordinating Officer of ICC, to share his thoughts.
Thank you, Aisha. In the agenda, I saw ICC President's speech before me. I thought I'll take some clue from him. So thank you, Aisha, again. Babuji and MC team, Maniji, and dear student forum, beloved kids, and all the dignitaries on the front row, as well as all the community members, and dear parents, good evening. And it's a at the outset, I congratulate the ICC for having organized this Ambedkar Jayanti program on this day, and student forum is on the forefront to conduct this event. That's more important. So, like what Swetaji was mentioning, so the kids should aware of what we are today is because of our freedom fighters and the national leaders, and the contribution of Dr. Ambedkar in this is immense, which cannot be measured. And I'm sure many of us present here would have benefited because of his thought-provoking policies, and we enjoy the freedom because of the constitutional values he brought in the Constitution. So, anyone who talks about Dr. Ambedkar, so they talk about he's the father of the Indian Constitution, so all his life history that the student forum members will, I'm sure, going to talk about it, so I'm not going to go into that aspects. So I'll restrict on two aspects. One is what I learned from Dr. Ambedkar, and I'll briefly touch upon the Constitution. I happen to know about Constitution during my civil service exam preparation. Before that, I admit that I didn't have the chance to read about the Constitution. So we had an extensive reading on the Constitution during our preparation for the civil service exam. So first I'll discuss about the Constitution. Then I'll come to my learnings from Dr. Ambedkar, and then I'll conclude my speech in maybe another 3-4 minutes. So if you take our Indian Constitution, it is a living document. It's not static. We adopted the Constitution, and then we have done 105 amendments so far. Oh, so much amendments. It's a living Constitution. So if you take the Constitution, first it says that who are all the citizens of India? Who can be the citizen of India? When it says citizens, it says that, second it comes. It is very, very beautifully narrated document. I advise all the members who are present here, when you are finding time, you read through our Constitution. So it is very beautifully written Constitution. So it says what are the fundamental rights. We are a democratic country. So we enjoy a lot of fundamental rights, what all personal rights, what are all our fundamental rights. So when it says fundamental rights, you cannot have absolute rights. So you should not infringe on the other rights. There are some restrictions in some of the rights also. Then it goes, you have enjoyed enough rights, you shall have the duties also to the country. So it says that what are your duties to the country. So that's how the initial part of the Constitution goes. And then it demarcates then it comes to DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy. As a state, as a government, what the government should strive for the citizens. So this is a wholesome. As an individual, who is the citizen of India? What is his rights? What is his duties? As a government, what is his duty to the citizens? See, it's a wholesome. That gives the complete picture of the intention of the Constitution. Then goes who is the president of our country? The executive, it discuss about the legislature, it discuss about the judiciary. The powers of both the three organizations, all the three organizations is clearly, beautifully demarcated. And that is one of the very successful part of our Constitution, why we are having a democratic system of our government for the last 75 years. And we are going to have in the many more years another thing. So these are all the second segment. Then comes the center and the state. What are all the powers of the center? What are all the powers of the state? What are all the center-state relations it comes? See, if you visualize as a country how it is governed, it says about the citizens, then who governs the executive, legislature, judiciary, and who should have the power to enact the law, who should have the power to review the law, who has to execute the law, it's clearly defined. Then it comes, what is the power of the center, what is the power of the state, because we have a federal nature of government, and then it tells about the center-state relations. Then comes So these are all the peaceful time. Okay, if there is an emergency in the state, what should be how the system should be, how it has to take care of the administration. When there is a financial emergency, how it should be, how other emergencies there, who should wield the power, how the emergency has to be handled. So such a beautifully narrated constitution, and as Sweta ji was mentioned, this is the largest written constitution in the world. And whenever you have the time, find time, you read our constitution, and I'm sure that you have to read at least many times to understand the nuances of the constitution. That's the thread of this, our Indian constitution. And we all vote our constitution. When we read, we the people of India, so we feel it, we feel our constitution. So we are proud of our constitution. We salute our Dr. Ambedkar on this day for his immense contribution of this constitution, and we we should live to the expectations of constitutions and the forefathers and father of our constitution. So the second aspect, what I learned from Dr. Ambedkar. Why we talk about Dr. Ambedkar today? Please recall the society which we had in 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, how our society was. From 2022, you try to reconstruct how the society was. This gentleman had only one weapon in his hand. That's why we talk about him today. Education. Because of this one weapon, he grew from the downtrodden society, from the lower strata of the society. He grew up in the ladder, and we talk about him because his education, nothing else. So that weapon is a very powerful weapon, which everybody can possess, irrespective of any caste, religion, financial status, or anything. So that is very important. That weapon is a very, very, very potent weapon, which can demolish all the differences in the society. So as I urge all the parents here, all the community members here, that this education is the one which does not distinguish based on the caste, religion, financial status. Please, that weapon is a very important weapon, education. Please educate your children. Second aspect, what I learned from him, I stand in front of you because my education, nothing else. Otherwise, I would have been some part of India. I'm not before you talking on this forum in the ICC platform. Only one thing which brought me to stand before you today is my education, nothing else. So that's a very important weapon, which I urge all the parents to give that weapon to your children. They will grow well in the society, they grow well in the life. And the other aspect of this, having that weapon, education, is that you broaden your thinking, you broaden your horizon. Being a narrowed society, narrowed perception, you think large, you become large-hearted. That's very important. That's what you have to learn from Dr. Ambedkar. So he was having the weapon of education. When he grew from the lower state of the society, grew from the downtrodden status in the society up and up in the ladder, he was looking and he was uplifting the others who need such education, such inequalities to be removed, the development. So he was lifting the entire society together. He was not a very rich man. He was not a very influential man who can kind of having power to, but because of the education and the kind of commitment, the level of contribution he wants to commit to the society. I came from this society. The society is so, I don't want this. I want them to bring up in the ladder. So that when you have that education, when you grow in the society, please look around and try to bring your people around up in the ladder so that the pleasure, the blessings you get out of it is what the maximum you can expect as a human being in this world. So these two learnings I see from the Dr. Ambedkar's life. Before I conclude, I'm very fond of Tamil literature. I keep reading the Tamil literature. So what I talked about Dr. Ambedkar had been told in in another forum also. I told in the same podium, had been told in one of our poem in Tamil literature. It was 2000 years ago. Okay, it was written by a king. The poem was written by a king 2000 years before that. வேற்றுமை தெரிந்த நால்பால் உள்ளும் கீழ்பால் ஒருவன் கற்பின் மேற்பால் ஒருவனும் அவன் கற்படுமே. There are 4 different states of society, the varnashram, whatever we name it. If the lower state of the person is educated, is வேற்றுமை தெரிந்த நாற்பால் ஒருவன் கீழ்பால் ஒருவன், the lower state of the person is educated, irrespective of where he is in the society, the others have to listen to him. Okay, that is written 2000 years before. There is the same, the king writes, it is none other than, it's not a poet, the king himself is a poet, he is writing. When he is a king, he commands, he learns, he sees the society, he writes. We have to go to his mind and see it. So the king writes, it says, the meaning of it is, we all know our mother's love. Okay, you cannot differentiate between the son and the daughter and the elder son and the younger son. The poem says, if it says thayin manamum thriyum, it means if the child has more than one kid, even the mother's love will be tilted towards the child who is well educated, who is more educated. That's the power of education. So we all believe that the child love is indifferentiable. But when the children is educated, the child who is educated, even the mother's love will tilt towards the child who is well educated. Even the king writes, ஒரு குடி பிறந்த பல்லோர் உள்ளும் மூத்தோன் வருக எண்ணாது அவருள் அறிவுடையோன் ஆறும் அரசும் செல்லும். The king himself writes, in a family, those who have, there are people, மூத்தோன் வருக எண்ணாது, who is the eldest? The king doesn't look at who is the eldest. The king go and looks at who is the educated. The king himself writes, the poet is a king, he writes, in a family, who is the educated, behind him, the king also will follow. So that's the power of education. So on this occasion, I congratulate ICC for this. So I look forward to hear from the students forum, to listen to them and to learn from them. Obviously, we can learn a lot from them. Deliberately, I didn't touch upon what I could find from the Google, deliberately. So I wanted to say something, what personally I learned from his lives, wanted to share, and I wanted to educate about the Indian Constitution. We all talk about Indian Constitution. I just wanted to educate about the Constitution. So whenever you find time, you start reading the Constitution. Obviously, in one reading, you cannot understand. Go through many readings, and you will love our Indian Constitution. And whatever I learned from these two aspects, education is the best weapon, and you grow up in the society. When you grow up, you will help directly or indirectly many other people around you, because such a powerful weapon, which we could emulate from Dr. Ambedkar, sir. Thank you.
sir, like you said, the Constitution is very beautifully written, and we Indians should be proud of it. Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening this event. We would request you to kindly stay on stage. I call Sweta ma'am to the dais.
Good evening, everyone. Do you all remember 3 weeks from today, what did we have, where did we meet? Anyone? Any guesses? Yes, Passage to India, the mega festival that ICC had organized with the support and cooperation from the community members. And as a hallmark, it's a flagship event of us, and we in PTI 2022 had honored the long-term residents of Qatar, the Indian expats in Qatar. And we are delighted and proud to have one such resident amongst us, Mr. K.C. Dalal. K.C. Dalal is a deputy CEO of Al Fardan. He hails from Rajasthan state of India, and he has been in Qatar for over 4 decades, 44 years for his record in Qatar to the community and the expatriates here. He landed in Doha on 1st May 1978, so he would surely be in May celebrating some anniversary of his presence in Qatar. Sir, we are honored to have you here. To do the honors, may I request our Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Xavier Dhanraj Sir, and ICC President, Shri Babu Rajan Ji, to kindly come up on the stage. I would request KK Sir to kindly escort our dignitary onto the dais. May I request our Chief Guest, Xavier Dhanraj Sir, to kindly present the memento to our honorable dignitary. Thank you, sir. Thank you, dignitaries. And now we resume back with the Ambedkar Jayanti celebrations, and over to you, Ashika.
Thank you, everyone. Be educated, be organized, and be agitated was his mantra to the mass. A very highly educated person, Ambedkar was the first Indian to pursue a doctorate degree in economics from abroad. Now, let us listen to the rendering of an invigorating poem. I invite Ms. Samruddhi Panwar to recite a poem on socio-political reformer of India, Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar.
There is a request, there is a vehicle that is blocking the entrance, vehicle number 34084. Please clear it off from the entrance. Thank you.
Life should be great rather than long. Yes, this was said by Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar, the chief architect of the Indian Constitution. A very good evening to all, honorable guests, audience, and all my dear friends. Today, as we all have gathered here to celebrate the birth anniversary of Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar, I, Samriddhi Pamar from Ideal Indian School, is going to recite a poem on Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar. Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar is fondly remembered as Baba Saheb because he worked for the untouchables or Dalits' welfare. He was a great jurist, economist, orator, reformer, and anthropologist. So let us hear now the journey of his life and the courageous effort he had taken for rebuilding India. the voice of untouchables. Many hurdles and many tasks, but his journey was unto the last. His long-lasting deed brought the ray of hope. The depressed classes found the new horizon and scope. The bibliophile made up his mind, played many roles, fine. Every Indian takes pride in him who followed the footsteps of great social reformers of that time. Thoughts of the ignited mind empower the democratic nation. Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar is the symbol of revolution. The planets revolve around the sun. The son of Moho became the rallying cry soon. The milestone journey got his wings with magnus opum, annihilation of caste. The Buddha and his Dhamma was the big step in his life. The problem of rupee set an example in favor of every person. The foundation of the RBI has the base of his thoughts and sheer determination. Everyone knows the great task of forming the Indian Constitution. The big challenge turned into a great change under the leadership of Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar, an able leader who started the Muknayak with a lot of courage. The role of Samta and Janta changed the caste and political system. Bahishkrit Bharat and Prabuddha Bharat also disseminated the caste and political questions. He worked day and night for the rights of the Harijans and all. The work of the People's Education Society paved the way to educational development. The opening of new colleges gave a new direction in education. Baba Saheb always stood for the rights of the untouchables throughout his life. Salute to his thoughts and unbreakable mind. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Performance indeed resonated delight and revitalized our evening. Thank you for that mellifluous speech. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, father of Indian Constitution. He was a renowned public figure, a social reformer, first law minister of independent India. Now let the speakers tell about him more. I invite Varnika Alagappan first to speak about Dr. Ambedkar's early life.
Good evening, one and all present here. I'm Varnika from DPS MIS, studying in grade 5. I'm proud to say that I come from the land of Dr. Ambedkar, and one of his inspiring quote is, "Cultivation of mind should be the ultimate aim of human existence." We all know that Indian history is certainly filled with many patriotic freedom fighters and social reformers. One famous name among them is that of Bharat Ratna Dr. Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar. Bhimrao Ambedkar was born to Bhimabai and Ramji on 14th April 1891. Ambedkar's father was a subedar in the Indian Army. Early in his school days, Bhim was carefree, fearless, and hardly serious about his studies. He was interested in gardening, tending to cattle, and rearing goats. Throughout his childhood, Ambedkar faced the stigmas of caste discrimination. His family was viewed as untouchable by the upper classes. Fearing social outcry, the teachers would segregate the students of lower class from that of so-called the upper classes. The untouchable students were often asked by the teachers to sit outside the class. When Dr. Ambedkar reached secondary school, his father was not able to pay the fees of both brothers, Bhimji and Anandrao, his elder brother. Anandrao had to leave school so that his younger sibling could continue his education. Bhim passed matriculation and scored 282 marks out of 750. This was a great achievement for him. One of his teachers presented him the biography of Buddha on the occasion. Dr. Ambedkar knew he was untouchable and had to follow a certain code of conduct. But after facing inhuman treatment and humiliation on many occasions, it made him to think about untouchability. After coming back from US, he was appointed as Defense Secretary to the King of Baroda. He was a Labour Minister in the Viceroy's Council. After India's independence, he became the first Law Minister of India, and he was also called as the father of Indian Constitution. Ambedkar was an inspiration of young lawyers across the world. He fought poverty, discrimination, and all other unjust practices for untouchables prevailed during his time. And went on to complete 64 masters. He was an voracious reader. He had a personal library with 50,000 books. He proved that nothing can stop you from achieving greatness. It was, if you have the will to do, only education and knowledge can help you to achieve this greatness. B.R. Ambedkar gave many slogans, but his slogan life should be greater rather than long gained popularity, not only in India, but also on a global scale, because people from everywhere can relate to this slogan. So friends, let's take Dr. Ambedkar as an inspiration and take a resolution. We will follow his footsteps and spend minimum 1 hour a day for reading. As he proved, knowledge is the only powerful tool to fight all odds. Thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, Varnika. Dr. Ambedkar was highly inspired by Mahatma Jyotiba Phule. Now moving on to the next speaker, I invite Ms. Haripriya.
Good evening all. My name is Haripriya and I'm studying in 7th grade. As quoted by Ambedkar, we are Indians firstly and lastly. Dr. Ambedkar came from a humble beginning but went on to become India's greatest leader. As rightly said, the symbol of knowledge in the world is our beloved Bharat Ratna Mr. Bhim Rao Ramji Ambedkar. Dr. Ambedkar was an efficient student. He studied 18 hours a day during his higher education. Also, his contribution in drafting the Constitution of India was remarkable. He was harnessed with his duty and expressed his opinion that the duty must be performed. Let the effort be successful or not, let the work be appreciated or not. When a man's sincerity of purpose and comes to life proven, even his enemies come to respect him. His father served in the British Indian Army. Although they attended school, Ambedkar and other untouchable children were segregated and given less attention by the teacher. They were not allowed to sit inside the class. The children could ask no questions. If they did not understand the lesson, there was no help from the teacher. When he passed his English 4th standard examination, people of his community wanted to celebrate because they considered that he had reached great heights, which he says was hardly an occasion compared to the state of education in other communities. His education journey surely shows that he is the symbol of knowledge. He passed 10th matriculation, BA in India, MA and PhD in America, DSc Barrett Law and MSc in London, Political Economics in Germany, LLD in New York, D.Lit in India, the first Indian who graduated DSc in Economics, and the first PhD in Economics and first double doctorate in Economics in South Asia. He was also known as the first scholar in the world by Columbian University. In 1918, he became the professor of political economics in Mumbai. While practicing law in Bombay High Court, he tried to promote education to untouchables and uplift them. Dr. Ambedkar was a great and dynamic personality, having inspirational life from childhood till the last moment. He has various qualities like efficiency, honesty, revolutionist, long visionary attitude, leadership, non-violentary attitude, and ambitious thoughts. These qualities made him an ideal for the young generation. If the youngsters follow him, they will find increased level of knowledge and intelligence, and the professional enjoy the additional capacity for effort. His revolutions have made history in the world. For example, the Columbian University have conducted a prolonged survey in which they selected 64 element scholars who graduated from the university for the last 250 years. And about their subsequent contribution to the mankind, Dr. Ambedkar's name was first and topped the list. I would like to conclude my speech by quoting of Dr. Ambedkar. Freedom of mind is the real freedom. Person whose mind is not free, though they may not be in chains, is a slave, not a free man. Thank you.
Thank you, Haripriya. The more we humanize the society, the more we will become humans. I welcome J. Ashwin to speak on social reforms.
A very warm good evening to one and all present here. I, J. Ashwin of DPS MIS, is going to speak about social reforms of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Let me start with a quote given by him. I like the religion that teaches liberty, equality, and fraternity. Ambedkar Jayanti is observed on 14th April every year. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, also known as Baba Saheb Ambedkar. He was inherited in a society based on graded inequality and injustice, resulting in the deprivation of human rights of millions of his countrymen. Had to go through a bitter childhood. Later, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is known as the symbol of equality and social reform. We can proudly say that he was a social activist, economist, reformer, and above all, an ideal politician. In 1920, he took part in the first meet of the depressed classes held at Nagpur. He started a paper, Bahishkrita Hitakarini, in 1924. He took up the cause of the depressed classes before the Simon Commission, which visited India in 1928. He attended the first round table conference held at London and argued that the depressed classes should have the voting rights and right to elect their own leaders. Dr. Ambedkar had a sharp mind. He said that all men are equal in all matters. While practicing law in Bombay High Court, he tried to uplift the depressed classes in order to educate them. His first organized attempt to achieve this was the Bahishkrit Hitakarini Sabha, which intended to promote education and socio-economic improvement, as well as the welfare of the outcast. At the time referred to as depressed classes for the protection of Dalit rights, He started many periodicals like Mugnayak, Baheshkrit Bharat, and Equality Janta. He also wrote a number of books for this purpose, but the greatest contribution of Ambedkar lies in the fact that as a leader of the repressed class, he was able to awaken them to an awareness of their lowly existence and the life of degradation and ignominy that they were leading. He made them conscious of their weakness and told them how these made them powerless. In short, he enthusiased in them a new spirit of restlessness, a questioning attitude, and a determination to the justice done. It is on this account that he is known as a regenerator of the spirit and inaugurator of the self-respect movement among them. He made them conscious of their united power and their power to vote. He organized them and led them to agitate in a peaceful manner for the vindication of their rights. Education, organization, and agitation were the key words of the self-respect movement. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar taught equality and fraternity to all the Indians by drafting the Indian Constitution. The main aim and missions of Ambedkar's life was to try to lead the depressed classes towards a higher social, political, and economic status and to free them from the stigma of untouchability. In other words, he desired to secure for the depressed classes with complete equality. He strongly felt that if we do not study completely the work and achievements of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the history of modern India will be incomplete. I conclude my words by quoting of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. If I find the Constitution being misused, I shall be the first to burn it. So we should hold the Constitution to our heart. Our Constitution is not a lawyer's document. It's a vehicle of life. And its spirit is always the spirit of ages. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Ashwin. Civilization will never see the sun till the civilians reject their gun. I invite Ashley Hemant.
A very good evening to one and all present here. I, Ashley Hemant of Olive International School, would like to speak about the social reforms brought about by Mr. B.R. Ambedkar. Ambedkar's realization that the division of people based on caste is extremely damaging led him to work relentlessly to unveil the brutality of casteism and the horrible conditions it condemned people to. He launched a strong attack on the social, political, and economic structures that have alienated lower caste people and handicapped them for generations. It was under his strong leadership that millions of oppressed united to challenge the inherent discrimination of Indian society. Ambedkar once said, "Education is the right weapon to cut social slavery." Ambedkar had realized early on that it was his education that helped him question the discrimination that was deeply ingrained in Indian society. This realization led him to establish the Bahishkrit Hitakarni Sabha in 1924, an institution which worked to uplift Dalits and educate them. The Sabha set up free schools, hostels, and libraries for the downtrodden. Ambedkar strongly opposed segregation and other divisive practices and fought for Dalit rights to enter temples and use water from public wells. Ambedkar was among the first in the new wave of Dalit journalism. He launched and established the Dalit newspaper Mook Nayak, which told the Indian narrative from the lens of an oppressed. Mook Nayak gave voice to issues that were sidelined by mainstream journalism during the early 1940s. Another important challenge to Ambedkar's vision of equality was gender inequality. Ambedkar fought extensively for female rights. He, along with Nehru, set up or established the Hindu Code Bill, which gave women the right to divorce, the right to inheritance of property, abolished polygamy, and also provided for legal recognition of intercaste marriages. Ambedkar famously said, I measure the progress of a community with the degree of progress women have achieved. Ambedkar has also had a profound impact on the social, political, and democratic institutions of India. Post-independence, he set up the Finance Commission of India. He opposed the imposition of income taxes on low-income groups. His contributions to the land revenue tax and excise duty policies have helped in the stabilization of the Indian economy greatly. Through the bills and policies that followed, he made invaluable contributions to the cause of empowerment of the downtrodden. Ambedkar's sweeping changes to the Indian society, politics, and society continue to inspire generations of Indians here and abroad. His struggles for the downtrodden and his profound impact on Indian democracy have etched his name in the annals of Indian history for eternity. Even as time goes by, Ambedkar's vision and his ideals continue to guide us through the constitution he crafted and the legacy he has left behind. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Social reforms are never carried out by the weakness or the strong, but always by the strength of the weak. I now call upon Datta to say about the making of the Constitution.
Men are mortal, so are ideas. An idea needs propagation as much as a plant needs watering. Otherwise, both will wither and die. Good evening to one and all present here. My name is Jayatyatta, and I'm from DPS Monarch International School. I'm going to talk about the making of the Constitution. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar is a celebrated leader who flagged the Constitution of India. He's a well-known statesman who fought for the rights of the Dalits and other socially backward classes. On 29th August 1947, a resolution was passed by the Constituent Assembly to appoint a drafting committee with 7 members, including Dr. Ambedkar, for preparing a draft of the Constitution. 207 members, including 9 women, attended the first meeting of the Constituent Assembly in Constitution Hall. Law Minister Dr. Ambedkar was appointed the chairman of the Constitution Drafting Committee for the Constitution of Independent India because of his deep knowledge and expertise in articulating the subject. According to him, for India, where society is divided on the basis of caste, religion, language, and other factors, a common moral compass is needed, and Constitution can act the role of the compass. Among others, his most important contributions were in the areas of fundamental rights, strong central government, and protection of minorities. Article 32 guarantees judicial protection to the fundamental rights, which makes them meaningful. For him, Article 32 was the most important article of the Constitution, and thus he referred to it as the soul of the Constitution and the very heart of it. He also supported a strong central government. He was afraid that casteism was strong at the local levels. He believed that it will not be easy to influence the central government, and it will ensure protection to the weaker section. Indian Constitution is the lengthiest constitution in the world because various administrative details have been included in it. Baba Saheb defended by saying that such safeguards are necessary. If all details are not included, future leaders may misuse the Constitution without technically violating it. This shows that he was aware of the practical difficulties which India will be facing once the Constitution would have been implemented. In his self-evaluation of his work, Dr. Ambedkar told the Assembly, "I do not want to say how good or bad is the Constitution. I feel that it is as much good as bad. It will be bad in the end when ruling people are bad. It will be good in the end when ruling people are good." He emphasized democracy as a way of life. For him, democracy must bring a drastic change in social conditions of society. Along with the social dimension, he focused on the economic dimension also. He believed that true democracy must bring both liberty and equality. Dr. Ambedkar was the sole author of the Constitution of India and played an important role in drafting and framing the Indian Constitution. He insisted on secular education to instill values of liberty and equality among the students. Dr. Ambedkar is a unique example of success, even in most adverse situations. We need to find the Ambedkar spirit within us so that we can pull ourselves for many challenges. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Yayati. Arise, awake, and stop, not until the goal is achieved. Now let's have on stage Miss Jessica M., who will speak about the legacy of Ambedkar.
Each of us function as a cog in the social wheel, densely moving through the different phases of life under the illusion that we are free, because we have achieved independence. But do we truly educate ourselves enough to break the shackles of habit that bind us? It takes immense faith, belief, and courage to go against the normal flow and create something new. One such unbelievably brave individual in the recent history of our country is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Good evening to one and all present here. I am Jessica from Loyola International School, and I am here to share the legacy of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Many of India's founding fathers had a dream about India, what kind of India they wished to see. Dr. Ambedkar's vision was that the country has to be built on the values of liberty, fraternity, and equality. Dr. Ambedkar was devoted to social justice and dignity. Dr. Ambedkar made outstanding contribution as an economist, sociologist, anthropologist, educationist, journalist, and as an authority of the comparative religion, as a policymaker and administrator, and as a parliamentarian, besides being a jurist who became the principal architect of the Indian Constitution. In spite of being a mass and a political leader, Dr. Ambedkar was always remembered as a reflective thinker and a well-knowledge scholar. Even though being fully engrossed in political upheavals and mass movements, he wrote some remarkable treatises on anthropology, politics, law, religion, and culture, which are really the mark of a true intellectual. Even after earning a master's degree in Columbia University, Dr. Ambedkar returned to India to serve in the government of the princely state of Baroda to repay his scholarship he has secured for his studies. Dr. Ambedkar was devoted to social justice and dignity, as I said. Dr. Ambedkar's tireless efforts towards ensuring excluded groups were politically and socially empowered made him a pioneer in the world, and his vision of social justice and equality made him a pioneer. Echoes ambitions on the UN's 2030 development agenda. That is why he constantly emphasized on making the society classless. He was an expert economist in tending to the monetary issues of country. Dr. Ambedkar's dream of India was that the country should establish all the levels of society classless. It is an intellectual poverty to associate him only with a particular class or caste. He belonged to all. If we go into the totality of Ambedkar's thoughts, we will find the seeds of liberty, equality, and unity.
his philosophy of Bahujana Hitaya, Bahujana Sukhaya, and its belief in social justice and equality is relevant today and will remain so in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. The struggle you are in today is developing the strength you need tomorrow. Now let us hear from Bhavya Jain.
If you believe in living a respectable life, you believe in self-help, which is the best help. This was once said by Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar. Hello everyone, my name is Bhavya Jain, and today we are here to celebrate the 131st birth anniversary of Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar was a social reformer, chairman of the drafting committee of the Indian Constitution, and the first Law Minister of India. This is well known, but he wore many other hats. A distinguished economist, active politician, eminent lawyer, great parliamentarian, anthropologist, orator, etc. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar reformed the Indian Constitution to provide equal rights to every citizen in India, irrespective of their color, caste, or creed. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar was born on April 14, 1891, in a Dalit family. His life was marked by struggles, but he proved that every hurdle in life can be surmounted with firm determination and talent. He had to face severe discriminations from every corner of the society because his caste was considered as untouchable by the upper class at that time. He promoted education for the Dalits and made various representations to the government in this regard. He also emphasized equal rights for women. His major concern for the equal rights for women was reflected on the Hindu Code Bill. He remarked that the work on the Hindu Code Bill would be as important as the work on the Constitution itself. In 1913, he graduated in political science and economics from the Bombay University. Although he was going through a bad time, he accepted to go to the United States for further studies in the Columbia University, for which he was awarded a scholarship by the Maharaja of Baroda. He authored several books and essays. His legal expertise of other countries' constitutions was very helpful in framing the Indian Constitution. He became the chairman of the Constitution and played an important role in framing the Constitution. He considered the right to constitutional remedy as the soul of Constitution. After independence, he became the first Law Minister in India in 1947. He was appointed to the Rajya Sabha in 1952 and reigned till his death. As a labor member, he advocated for the fair conditions for the life of labor, reducing the work hours to 48 hours per week, lifting the ban for women employment for underground coal mines. He also established equal pay for equal work. His message to youth was to educate, agitate, and organize. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar embraced Buddhism in October 1956. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar left the world on December 6, 1956. He was cremated according to the Buddhist rites, and the memorial was sculptured there. The major contributions that Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar made for the Dalits was to provide equal opportunities, authorities, status, and respect as the others in the society. He was posthumously awarded India's highest civilian honor, Bharat Ratna, in 1990 for his countless contributions after his death. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar struggled for equality throughout his life. That's why his birthday, which is today, is celebrated as the National Equality Day in India. And the demand to declare this day as the International Equality Day goes to the United Nations. He is a real hero, and his achievements will always be remembered. He once said, "Life should be greater rather than longer." Thank you.
Thank you, Bhavya. The speeches were indeed very informative, and all the speakers were very energetic. Can we have a big round of applause, please? Thank you. Dr. Ambedkar was the first Law Minister of India, and 2 weeks later, he was appointed as the chairman of the drafting committee of the Constitution for the future Republic of India. Next, we have a group performance by few community members. Shall I welcome them on stage?
सबसे पहले महामानव विश्व रत्न डॉक्टर बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर इनको त्रिवार नमन करते हैं।
जय भीम।
रिस्पेक्टेड डिग्निटरीज, फ्रेंड्स, हम जो गीत पेश करने वाले हैं वो कुछ पार्ट हिंदी में है और कुछ पार्ट मराठी में है, तो अगर नहीं समझा तो भी माफ़ करिएगा। तो साथियों, ला 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 La 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 वो बात करो पैदा, वो बात करो पैदा, तुम अपनी जुबानों में, वो बात करो वो बात करो पैदा, तुम अपनी जुबानों में, वो बात करो पैदा, तुम अपनी जुबानों में। दुनिया भी कहे कुछ है, दुनिया भी कहे भीम दीवानों में, दुनिया भी कहे कुछ है इन भीम दीवानों में। ला 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 la 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 बहकाएगा क्या कोई बाबा साहेब बहकाएगा क्या कोई मेरे भीम we are here because he was we are because he was इसलिए बहकाएगा क्या कोई प्रयास के लोगों को
बहकाएगा क्या कोई भारत के निवासियों को?
हम आग लगा देंगे,
हम आग लगा देंगे
बर्फीली चट्टानों में,
हम आग लगा देंगे बर्फीली चट्टानों में। वो बात करो पैदा तुम अपनी जुबानों में।
we measure the progress of community with the progress of women made in the society. हम हैं क्योंकि वो थे। साथियों, यही पावर है एजुकेशन का। एक व्यक्ति जिसे डिनाई किया गया था कि आप क्लासरूम में नहीं बैठ सकते, ऐसा व्यक्ति दुनिया का 1 नंबर का विद्वान बन सकता है। यह है पावर एजुकेशन का। ला 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 ला। La 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 la. La 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 la. जीवाला जीवाचं दान माझ्या भीमान केलं,
जीवाचं दान माझ्या भीमान केलं,
जीवाला जीवाचं दान माझ्या भीमान केलं, जिजून जीवाचं दान
माझ्या अभिमान केलं. ला 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 ला
आधी माणुसकीचा दिला आम्हाला धडा, मग प्रेत मनूचे पेटविले धडधडा. असं आम्हा बलवान, असं आम्हा बलवान माझ्या अभिमान केलं,
माझ्या अभिमान केलं.
ला 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 ला. हे खरंच आहे खरं, हे खरंच
आहे
भीमराव रामजी आंबेडकर, बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर नाव हे गाजतय ओ जगभर,
नाव हे गाजतय ओ जगभर, गाजतय ओ जगभर.
ला 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 ला.
महाविरोध कवटाळला,
सारा समाज सांभाळीला, कोटी कोटीचा उद्धार केला, हो शिरी बांधिला मानाचा
शेला. अंधरुडीला गुलामगिरी, अंधरुडीला गुलाम.
लावली कातर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर नाव हे गाजतोय ओ जगभर, नाव हे गाजतोय ओ जगभर. ला 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 ला. साथियों, जय भीम, जय भारत, जय संविधान. साथियों, अब है गरिबामंदी गरीब घरचा जन्म लातो हिरा. बस अभी 2 मिनिट. ला 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 ला. गरिबामंदी गरीब घरचा जन्म लायक हिरा, आहो जन्म
लायक हिरा, आहो जन्म लायक हिरा.
नाव तयाजे तुम्हा सांगतो ऐकून घे शाहिरा. असं होणार नाही कुणी, असं झालाच नाही कुणी, दिनाच्या धनी जिया. ला 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 ला. पुढाऱ्यामंदी पुढारी माझ्या भीमराव खंबीर, अहो भीमराव खंबीर, अहो घटना लिहून केला त्याने भारतीयांचा उद्धार. असं होणार नाही कुणी, असं झालाच नाही कुणी, दिनांच्या धनी दी ला 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 जय भीम, जय भारत, जय संविधान.
That was such a mellifluous performance. Thank you, team. Now, with a round of applause, I invite Miss Meena Magesh to introduce us to the preamble of our Constitution.
Good evening to one and all. I, Meena Magesh of Birla Public School, is going to read the Preamble of Constitution. Preamble is known as the heart of Constitution. It explains the philosophy and objectives of the document. In a constitution, it presents the intention of its framers, the history behind its framers, the history behind its creation, and the core values and principles of the nation. Preamble is the spirit and the backbone of the Indian Constitution. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. Finally, I'd like to conclude with Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar's quote: "Be educated, be organized, and be agitated." Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Meena. Next, we have Siddesh Bandache to recite a poem.
Dear friends, cooperate with us few more, just half an hour, because there are, so don't move and don't make noise also, please. Because as Ambedkar Day, it is our responsibility to promote our children. So kindly cooperate.
नमस्कार, मेरा नाम सिद्धेश बंडाच है। मैं DPSMI स्कूल में 5वीं कक्षा में पढ़ता हूँ। आज बाबा साहेब के जीवन पर एक कविता आपके सामने पेश करने जा रहा हूँ। कलम है शस्त्र, वस्त्र संविधान है। कलम है शस्त्र, वस्त्र संविधान है। देश का तिरंगा महामानव की शान है। संघर्ष है जीवन कहलाता भीमराव है। भीमा एक लाल वो देश का अभिमान है। चौदार पानी जिसने हमें पिलाया, बेड़ियों को तोड़कर स्वाभिमान दिलाया। कलम है शस्त्र, वस्त्र संविधान है। कलम है शस्त्र, वस्त्र संविधान है। देश का तिरंगा महामानव की शान है। छुआछूत, ऊंच नीच, बेड़ियां जो तोड़ी, भेदभाव की रील की हड्डियां मरोड़ दी। जीवन संघर्ष है, नाम ही आदर्श है। जीवन संघर्ष है, नाम ही आदर्श है। बोलो जय भीम तो होठों को भी हर्ष है। कलम है शस्त्र, वस्त्र संविधान है। कलम है शस्त्र, वस्त्र संविधान है। देश का तिरंगा महामानव की शान है। अंबेडकर जयंती के अवसर पर भारत रत्न डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब अंबेडकर, इनकी स्मृति में मेरा विनम्र अभिवादन। जय हिंद। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Siddesh. Wow, that performance indeed resonated delight. Now I invite Saitanapan to share a story of Dr. Ambedkar.
Life should be great rather than long. Good morning, everyone. My name is Saitanapan. I am from class 4E of DPS Monarch International School. Today, I am going to share a motivational story of Dr. Ambedkar. We all know him as the father of Indian Constitution. Dr. Ambedkar was from a Dalit family. He suffered a lot in his life, but never let his education affected. He studied 14 to 18 hours. It was Shahu Maharaji who sent him to England to pursue higher education. As Ambedkar was fond of reading books, he had a personal library. It was the largest personal library in the world, with more than 50,000 books. While in London, Ambedkar went to a library. He studied there for hours. Once, he ate a piece of bread. A librarian caught him and scolded him. Instead of going to the cafeteria, why are you sitting here and eating? Then Ambedkar apologized. And he told him about his life struggle. He also honestly admitted that he did not have enough money to go to the cafeteria for lunch. After hearing this, the librarian said, "From today, I will share my lunch with you." The librarian was Jewish, and this behavior made Ambedkar a special place in his heart for Jews. He is a strong leader who believed that only with education the Dalits could make progress. He had a dream that every child should get the best education, no matter how poor they are. As education is what makes a person fearless, teaches him the lesson of unity, makes him aware of his rights, and inspires him to struggle for his rights. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Next, Ms. Shreya Patil will share a story of Dr. Ambedkar.
A very good evening to everyone present here. My name is Shreya Patil. I study in Ideal Indian School. Today, I would like to share a story on India's greatest icons, greatest nation builder, Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. His struggle to bring the deprived into the mainstream will keep inspiring the world. We all will continuously follow his teachings and learn from his life. This is a pre-independence event. Baba Saheb Bhim Rao Ambedkar was included in the Viceroy. At the same time, he worked in the Department of Public Works, PWD. The budget of this department was several millions, and many contractors were competing to get the contract. In this greed, a great entrepreneur from Delhi sent his son to Baba Saheb's son, Yashwant Rao. he put forth an offer that if he can obtain the contract via Baba Saheb, he would grant Yashwant Rao a commission of 25 to 50%. Yashwant Rao entered his reception and reached out to convey this message to his father. As soon as Baba Saheb heard this, he became furious. He told, "While protecting the society, I never came to raise my son. Such greed can never distract me." The same night, angry Baba Saheb sent his son back to Bombay. Baba Saheb's values of intellectual, moral, and social democracy are well encapsulated in various provisions of the Indian Constitution. All the values that he stood for, most importantly as a social reformer, continue to guide us in our onward progress and onward march as a nation. We all will be grateful to him for his legacy and his vision. Thank you.
Thank you, Shreya. Now please welcome Mohammad Zain Kuniorat to share quotes of Dr. Ambedkar.
Good evening to one and all. I am Mohammad Zain Kuniorat from Greenwood International School. We celebrate 14 April every year to pay the respect to Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. He dedicated his entire life to the freedom movement of India and eradicating social inequalities in our country. I would like to take the opportunity to share the thoughts of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar on this auspicious day and remember his contribution and accomplishment. Religion is for man and not man for religion. Life should be great rather than long. I like the religion which teaches equality, liberty and fraternity. A safe army is better than safe border. They cannot make history who forgot history. Freedom of the mind is the real freedom. Bitter thing cannot make sweet. Taste of anything can be changed, but poison cannot be changed to nectar. Constitution is not man lawyer's document. It's a vehicle of life, and its spirit is always the spirit of age. The above quote shows how Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar was clear about his thoughts and actions. The values of equality, fraternity and liberty embedded by him in Constitution are mostly followed in our country. Hence, India is known as the second largest democracy in the world. His contribution pre-independence and post-independence India, and everyone owns for his work. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammad Zain. Please help me welcome Ms. Mahi Srivastava to share a story.
Good evening, everyone. I am Mahi Srivastava from DPS MIS of 5th grade. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, an Indian scholar, jurist, economist, politician and social reformer, who is regarded as father of Indian Constitution. Today, on the occasion of his birth anniversary, it's my honor to pay legend a tribute by sharing one of his real lifetime stories. Now, he was popularly known as symbol of knowledge for his matchless, extraordinary and vast educational experience. He was a person who gave visionary path of development through India through Constitution. Now, let me share a small story from the time when Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was studying in Columbia University. His curiosity to gain more knowledge made him reach library before the peon could reach open the doors for everyone. Not only he was first to enter, but last to exit also. He urged peon to extend library working hours so that he can spend more time. Finally, one day, peon questioned him, "Why are you always serious and indulge yourself only in studies? Don't you like to have fun with your friends?" Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar smiled and replied with a calm and determined voice, "If I sit, who will look after them?" His reply had concerned worries and the weaker section of the society. Much like African American reformers such as Martin Luther King Jr. and Frederick in the United States, Dr. Ambedkar expounded the importance of social reformer that abolished caste discrimination and the concept of untouchability in India. He strongly believed that education is the only way to success. He was a true leader who walked the talk. Today, we can proudly say that we belong to a country where a great social reformer, vigilant upholder of human rights. Dr. Ambedkar was born, lived, and assured that dignity of the individuals. Dr. Ambedkar is alive in his work for humanity. With this, I would like to salute this star. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Mahi Srivastava. Now I invite Ms. Tanisha Thapa to share a story.
Good evening to all present here. I, Tanishi Thapa from Ideal Indian School, is going to share a story about Dr. Ambedkar and his struggle. Before India's independence, caste discrimination and untouchability were practiced in the society. One of those who suffered was Dr. Ambedkar, who later on went to become the father of the Indian Constitution. During his childhood, Ambedkar was traveling by train with his elder brother to meet his father Ramji Sakpal. They got off at a small station. Their father lived far away from the station, so Bhimrao and his brother decided to hire a hand-pull rickshaw. The rickshaw puller made them sit in the rickshaw and started pulling it. He chatted with the boys, and after knowing his caste, he was very angry and gave the rickshaw a violent jerk. Both the boys fell off. Bhimrao and his brother did not know what to do. Nobody took their side. Later on, when the crowd moved away, Bhimrao and his brother were left alone. They had no choice now but to walk to their father's house. It was hot and dusty. Soon the boys began to feel thirsty and tired, but nobody offered them water. They couldn't drink from the well or the lake in those days. But since the boys were so thirsty, Bhimrao forgot all about his caste, drew water from the well, and started drinking it. But before he could drink enough, he heard someone screaming. A crowd gathered, and the people started beating the boys. Nobody stopped to think that these were just two thirsty children, and all they had done was drank some water. The boys were beaten up badly and finally managed to escape the angry crowd. This incident affected Bhimrao deeply. He started thinking about ways to remove the caste system from the Indian society. He dedicated his life to eradicate social inequality in India. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Tanisha. Now I invite Subhadidara Raj to say quotes of Dr. Ambedkar.
Be educated, be organized, and be agitated. Good evening and a happy Ambedkar Jayanti to all. I am Subodhidhara Ashok Kumar Raj of DPS Monarch International School. Today I am going to say a few quotes of the main architect of the Indian Constitution, Dr. Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar. His thoughts were that freedom of the mind is the real freedom. A person whose mind is not free, though he may not be in chains, is a slave and not a free man. One whose mind is not free, though alive, is no better than dead. Freedom of the mind is the proof of one's existence. Indifferentism is the worst kind of disease that can affect any person. He believed that it is not enough to be electors only. It is necessary to be lawmakers. Otherwise, those who can be lawmakers will be the masters of those who can only be electors. He also said, so long as you don't achieve social liberty, whatever freedom is provided by the law is of no avail to you. Political democracy cannot last unless there lies at the base of it social democracy. What does social democracy mean? It means a way of life which recognizes liberty, equality, and fraternity as the principles of life. He also quoted that equality may be a fiction, but nonetheless one must accept it as a governing principle. Democracy is not a form of government, but a form of social organization. The above quotes explain that justice is another name for liberty, equality, and fraternity. It also speaks about self-improvement, unity in India, equality, and democracy. Dr. Ambedkar was a scholar, a social reformer, and the moving spirit of the Indian Constitution, who believed that free people are those who are awake, realize their rights, responsibilities, and duties. Thank you.
Thank you, Subodhidara. Now please help me welcome Sunadita to share quotes.
Good evening to one and all. I'm Sunandita, studying in Loyola International School, grade 6. I would like to take this opportunity to share few words about a leader who fought against discrimination, injustice, and inequality, who saw the future of India to be economically, politically, and socially stable. A social reformer, an activist, an economist, a visionary. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, or lovingly known as Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Baba Saheb Ambedkar was born on 14th April 1891. And every year, this day is celebrated as Ambedkar Jayanti. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, also known as the father of the Indian Constitution, as he has drafted the Constitution of India. This day is celebrated to promote constitutional values among citizens. In order to mark this day, let us remember him for his own words. Here are few inspiring quotes by Baba Saheb Ambedkar, which I would also like to share with you all. Life should be great rather than long. I like the religion that teaches liberty, equality, and fraternity. A great man is different from an eminent one in that he is ready to be the servant of the society. I measure the progress of a community by the degree of a progress which women have achieved. If you believe in living a respectable life, you believe in self-help, which is the best help. Cultivation of mind should be the ultimate aim of human existence. Having dedicated his life for working for the upliftment of lower class women and laborers, Baba Saheb was awarded the Bharat Ratna in 1990. We should pay him respect and tribute on what he has contributed to Indian law and constitution. He helped Dalits and made sure they get what they deserve. Because of him, many students are able to get quality education. Dr. Ambedkar remains a symbol of equality and person of human rights. His works and ideas continue to influence the mass of people. His forward thinking and ideals are still applicable today. Many look up to him as a role model, as I do. So let's celebrate Baba Sahib's legacy and let his memory live on. Happy Ambedkar Jayanti. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunadita. Lastly, Master Aftab Bashir will share the thoughts of world leaders about Dr. Ambedkar.
If you believe in living a respectable life, you should believe in self-help, which is the best help. Good evening to all. I, Aftab Bashir, of MES Indian School, is going to share thoughts of great leaders about Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar. In March 1920, Shah Maharaj and Ambedkar jointly organized a conference for the welfare of untouchables in Kolhapur. Shah Maharaj asked Ambedkar to chair the conference. Addressing the conference, Shah Maharaj told to the untouchables, "You have found your savior in Ambedkar. I am confident that he will break your shackles. Not only that, a time will come, so whispers my conscience, that he will shine as a front-rank leader of all India fame." Nelson Mandela says that Dr. Ambedkar's contribution to social justice and to the upliftment of the oppressed is worthy of emulation. Amartya Sen says that through education, we can truly bring out the change in the world. That is the vision which Baba Sahib Ambedkar gave us for a united nation. Martin Luther King says that Martin Luther King Jr. and Dr. Ambedkar were brothers in revolutionaries whose mind and heart were driven by justice and compassion. Thabo Mbeki, the former president of South Africa, says the issue of leadership is indeed very critical. In my humble view, the resolution suggested by the challenge posed by Dr. Ambedkar in India in 1949 fundamentally requires not a leader, but a leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Aftab. Now it is time to wind up this informative and brainstorming function. Hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. As we wrap up this beautiful evening, I would like to invite Ms. Himani Roa to deliver the word of thanks.
Gratitude is a divine emotion. It fills the heart, but not to bursting. It warms it, but not to a very good evening to everyone present here. I, Himani Rao of Shantiniketan Indian School, consider it a great privilege to propose the vote of thanks to all the guests who have spared their valuable time and graced us on this momentous occasion. On behalf of the ICC Student Forum, it gives me an immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this event to all dignitaries assembled in this very day. I would like to thank our chief guest, Mr. Xavier Dhanraj Sir, First Secretary Embassy of India, Coordinating Officer of ICC. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time with us, sir. I would like to extend this sincere gratitude to Mr. P.N. Baburajan, sir, President of ICC, for giving us this opportunity to be a part of such a wonderful occasion. We thoroughly admire your leadership skills and feel privileged to be able to learn so much from you. Thank you for your unflinching support and guidance. Thank you, sir. I would further like to convey my heartfelt thanks to all the dignitaries, school principals, coordinating teachers, special invitees, and well-wishers for making time to be here with us. I take this opportunity to thank the ICC Vice President, Mr. Subrahmanya Hebbagelu, General Secretary, Mr. Krishna Kumar Bandakavi, and all committee members, and thank them for their hard work and dedication. I also express my gratitude to all the loving parents, invited guests, enthusiastic students who have taken the time to attend this event to make it a successful one. And last but definitely not the least, I wholeheartedly thanks to those who are watching this program on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and encouraging us on social media platforms. I would like to thank and congratulate the entire team who is a part of this grand event. Finally, I leave you all with this inspiring quote by Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar. Cultivation of mind should be the ultimate aim of human existence. With this, once again, a big thank you to one and all for joining and enjoying this session. Thank you and have a great evening ahead.
Thank you, Himani. Amal se bandi hai zindagi, Jannat bhi or Jahannam bhi. Yes, our doings are the making of our life. It makes heaven and hell. Signing off, Aisha Fatima. Have a great evening. Jai Hind, Jai Hind. Now I request the respected ICC committee members and all the children and dignitaries to come up to the dais for a photo session.